I'm going to do a review of the Buck 327 Nobleman titanium coated knife today. This is a knife that retails for about $30. I picked it up recently on a visit out to Smoky Mountain Knife Works. It's got a 2.75 inch drop point blade. It's made out of 420 high carbon stainless steel, or 420HC stainless steel, and it has a titanium coating on it. It is a manual opener with a liner lock, so to unlock it you push this to the side and you close it, and of course you open it using your thumb like that. So it is a one-handed open and one-handed closing knife. I will say it has a nice sturdy feel to it, a nice click when it opens with the liner lock. Doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Great overall knife. I'd say pretty good value for $30 as I compare to knives that are much more expensive than this. Now the steel, 420HC stainless steel, is just a lower cost steel than other knives, but in my experience in the past, it seems to hold an edge reasonably well. I do plan to do an edge test with this sort of steel, as well as this CPM 154 steel, as well as some D2 steel as well. They are different types of steel. My hunch is that the 420 HC steel will hold an edge at least as well as the CPM 154, which, by the way, gang, I know if you look it up, I think folks say that the CPM 154 holds an edge better than the 420 HC. But I'm not quite sure of that, so I'm going to try to put together a semi-scientific test in the nearest future to compare that for us to see what kind of steel is better. Back to this Buck knife. When it's closed, it is 3.75 inches closed, 6.5 inches overall. I just wanted to give you a look of how it fits in the knife. My hand is approximately, I'll say a medium large hand, and it seems to fit well. I could get all 4 fingers on it. I can, it's got this nice little groove here if you want to get higher up on the blade to do some more precision cutting. I will mention it doesn't have any sort of jimping or anything on the top of the blade, which is kind of common to see. As an example, on this Kershaw Launch 9, we do have some jimping at the top. Same with this Civivi Odium, have the jimping on the top. So I will say it doesn't have that, but you know what? If this is clearly, I think, a gentleman's knife, an everyday carry, maybe not made for really heavy duty action, so not a big deal there. I did want to mention that the titanium coating, this is actually my son's knife, and he's just used it a few times, and I could already see some, I don't know if you could pick that up on the video, but seemingly some smear marks on the blade. He tried to clean that up, and they seem to be pretty much fixed there. So time will tell how durable this titanium coating is. So far, it's still a fairly new knife, and overall it seems to be holding up pretty well, but I did want to point out that we do already see some abrasion marks. He has sharpened it so far with my handy dandy Smith's sharpening kit, and seems to have had pretty good luck with the sharpening kit. This is nothing fancy at all, just some diamond stones in there, and it seems to sharpen quite well. So time will tell, but I'd say overall really good value for the money. Just $30. That's a fraction of what you're going to pay for something like a Kershaw Auto, which is more like a $70 knife. And also it's much less than what you'd spend on something like a Civivi Odium. Now, I will mention that the bearings on these two knives are different. I'll say that the buck knife it's smooth to pull out, but I'll say the Civivi Odium is smoother. It is definitely easier to pull out than the buck knife. And so I think that probably is part of what you're paying for. I will confess, I don't know exactly what's in here, but it appears to have some sort of plastic washers in opening up the blade, and versus a bearing, I know some higher end knives, they actually will have, they'll be riding on a ball bearing, and I have a feeling if I open up the Civivi Odium, this might have a ball bearing, which is probably what makes it smoother, and probably kind of what you're paying for when you spend slightly more on the knife. Overall though, I'll say double thumbs up for this knife. Good value for the money. I'm gonna give it, because it's such a low cost knife, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 4.5 stars. Clearly in a different league than some higher end knives, but just a fantastic value for the money.